Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our little presentation about careers in the building trades unions and during Registered Apprenticeship Week here in November. Going to give you a little presentation background about what we do in the building trades unions, the career opportunities that we have. If you've never heard about us before, we represent several different facets in the construction industry. Up on the list, you can see there's a vast variety of opportunities in the building trades unions, from waterproofers, sheet metal workers, commercial and industrial painters, plasterers, glazers, that's a glass installer, electricians, bricklayers, numerous opportunities. For us in the building trades unions, we work on several different industries within construction. We work in residential, highway, heavy construction, commercial construction, things like hospitals, schools, power plants, refineries, highways, heavies, bridges, numerous opportunities in the building trades unions for you guys to take a look and explore those career opportunities. So sometimes if you're saying maybe I don't want to be afraid of heights, maybe this one career pathway isn't the ideal fit, but if you're good with hand-eye coordination, maybe another one, let's say like the heavy equipment operators might be that great opportunity to take a look at. Maybe you've seen this chart before, maybe you haven't seen this chart before, but I always like to reference it when I'm doing these presentations about the importance of post-secondary education. You've probably had someone along the line, maybe a parent, a family member that has always told you to go to school, get an education, because that's clearly paramount importance. If you look at this chart here, this is data that I get from the state of North Dakota, their IT department, and it really breaks down the earning potential that you have here in the state as opposed to, or when it's compared to education attainment. So if you look there at the very bottom, less than a high school degree, if you don't get your diploma, on average in the state of North Dakota, you'll make about $30,000. But if you do get your high school diploma, it bumps you up to $34,000. You can see as that chart goes up more further, it's some college and no degree goes to 37.3. Get an associate's degree, you're making up to that $40,000 mark. And if you get into a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, $50,000 and $55,000 respectively. But a lot of times what I really want to point out in these slides is that education is important. It's very clearly laid out in the data here that's been said. But I think far too many times we only look at it as just for the college for all mentality. What is after high school? You don't see the other opportunities that are out there, and that's what I want to kind of break down here today. That's what the importance of National Apprenticeship Week is to renew that focus, shift that focus, and bring it back onto the ability of a registered apprenticeship program and how it is to be seen as a post-secondary educational model. Things that we like to talk about in the trades is like the other four-year degree, which I'll explain a little bit later. And ultimately, what trying to do National Apprenticeship Week is trying to accomplish is to get you all to review, re-examine, reevaluate, and reimagine what educational attainment truly means today. Is it that four-year college degree? Is it a two-year college associate's degree? Or is it something that we have in the building trades unions called a registered apprenticeship program? And we'll get into it a little bit more here in greater detail about what's all involved with that. A lot of times I like to show these two pictures when I'm giving my presentations to young people all the time, because I think there's a missed focus or a misplaced focus about what the importance of education really means in the construction industry. I was speaking earlier this week actually to some students, and they didn't see, when I showed these two pictures, they just said, well, there is no need for education, and it couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. If you're looking at these two pictures, what I like to really reference is, although it may seem simple, there's a lot of math, there's a lot of industry awareness, there's a lot of safety, there's a lot of education and training that goes into it. The glazers, the glass installers that you see on the left there, if you happen to notice that wall is a radius, it's a curved wall. Essentially, you're taking straight pieces of metal, straight pieces of glass, and you're making it into a curved wall. So you're going to need to know some geometry, you're going to have to know some algebra, you're going to have to know some math, construction math, how you put that all together. If you're looking at the picture on the right, the woman who's doing that curving gutter system, you're going to have to understand things like level and plumb, grade. You're going to have to understand how to smooth out concrete to make sure it flows perfectly with that moisture going down the street, so it's not just sitting there, goes into our sewers or gutter systems. so we all can get around fairly effectively and efficiently. Getting that point, if there is education, which we've already established in the previous slide, if there's an increase in earning potential, or excuse me, but when you have more education tied to a program, there's an increase in earning potential, which we've already talked about. So for some of you, maybe I like to talk about what is a registered apprenticeship program. When I talk to students, I always like to poll students of how many have actually heard about an apprenticeship program, how many haven't. And I still get a lot of students that have no idea what an apprenticeship program is, what's involved with the program, what it's actually even about. I've had students of 50% of the classes that I talk to have never heard an apprenticeship program. I've had some work upwards of 80% of students have never heard an apprenticeship program. So a lot of this is just, this slide is kind of breaking it down, what that information involved with it. It's an apprenticeship program we've been using for decades, and it's on our fault, on the building trade unions, why we haven't been talking about it enough, about our apprenticeship programs. We're here to kind of promote that during National Apprenticeship Week, and also any other time that you're watching this video throughout the school year, but it's established. Apprenticeship programs have been around for a very long time, decades. Even some of our programs are almost over 100 years old or approaching 200 years old. So if you've never heard about this program before, we've been around a long time. It's just maybe we just haven't done a great job of talking about them and selling them. It's a post-secondary credential. You're going to do an apprenticeship program after high school. You have to be 18 years of age. You have to have a diploma or a GED in order to get into one of our apprenticeship programs, because they're all moderated or not prescribed, but they're regulated by the Department of Labor. So it's a post-secondary credential, which we like to title the other four-year degree. Most of our apprenticeship programs are going to take about 4 years to go through them. So you can be thinking about it as another career pathway outside of the high school model, going into like a college or university degree program. One of the key pieces of an apprenticeship program is a compensated career education. Earn while you learn. That's one of the things that we really like to highlight about an apprenticeship program. When you get accepted into one of the building trade unions apprenticeship programs, if you want to become an electrician or a sprinkler fitter, or a cement mason, a heavy equipment operator, you're actually going to get paid to learn the craft, be paid to earn the trade that you're going to do. If you enjoy being an electrician or a roofer or a sheet metal worker, like these two pictures that you're seeing right here, you're going to get paid. We're going to actually pay you to learn the trade, the craft, while you go through the apprenticeship program for that 4-year time frame. And ultimately, on those two key pieces, is there's not going to be a long-term debt with an apprenticeship program. You're not going to rack up 10s, 20s, 30s, or even $100,000s of dollars in college debt to have to pay off for that over the next 10, 20, 30 years of your lifetime. Apprenticeship programs are fully funded. As long as you make that commitment to the apprenticeship program for about whatever that time frame is going to be, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever that entails, the apprenticeship program is fully funded. You're going to get the education, the skills attainment to become that craft person throughout the life of that trade. Components of a registered apprenticeship program, kind of more background knowledge about an apprenticeship program. It's established, we've got them all accredited with the Department of Labor. And the reason why we do that within the building trade unions is we're very mobile trade. Construction can be all over the state, it can be all over the region, it can be all over the upper Midwest, it can actually be national. So the education that you get here in North Dakota needs to be able to carry with you throughout the country. Many of our union members that work in North Dakota will work in South Dakota, Minnesota, Montana. They'll work down in Florida or New York or Hawaii even. So reason why we get our education accredited with the Department of Labor is that we want to make sure that the education goes with you, and it's an accredited standard, a universal standard across the country. So that education that you get here in our apprenticeship programs, you're going to take with you. It's not something that is only exclusive to North Dakota or the region. It goes with you entire country. On-the-job training, learn by doing. The real key piece about an apprenticeship program is if you're taking any type of a career and technical education course right now, say it's a woods program or a welding program, an automotive program, a lot of students find their benefits in this is it's a hands-on learning educational situation. With our apprenticeship programs, we just continue that model after high school. So you have a combination of classroom instruction, relevant education, then you'll actually go out into like a career and technical education. Would you go out into a living lab? Really what now we take you out onto the construction site, onto that job site. You actually earn the income that you're going to be doing the trade, the craft, during that time frame. But ultimately, you're going to learn by doing. You want to become a bricklayer, we're going to put tools in your hand. We're going to let you make some mistakes because it's all brand new. We expect that, but you're going to get better and you're going to get more effective, more efficient, and moving through that apprenticeship program. So as a heavy equipment operator, you might start out with simple equipment, but working your way up to maybe bulldozers or blades, maybe even cranes. Insulators, maybe more generalized in installation methods to more precision instrumentation with that insulation. So it's a melding of both worlds in that classroom instruction, the CTE program, extending that out into an apprenticeship program. Defined expectations, and we'll go a little bit into this next slide, but you'll know what you have to do your first year, your second year, your third year, your fourth year, and your fifth year. There's going to be the expectations of not only what you're going to get paid, but what you're expected to know, what you're expected to be accomplishing, the effectiveness that you are on the job site, and we move that through an apprenticeship program over that life of that opportunity. So maybe your first year, you're going to be very basic education, very basic skill attainment. But as you move into that third year, fourth year, fifth year, when you're working next to that journey worker, you should be able to move fairly effectively and efficiently. Maybe not completely effective and efficient as that journey worker, but it's really a point of understanding what you need to be doing by the first and the second and the third and the fourth year. How are you able to work independently? One of the key pieces I really like to enjoy, that I enjoyed about an apprenticeship program, was the flip dynamic. And what I mean by a flip dynamic is that instead of going on to college and pursuing a degree field, whatever that may be after high school, when you get into the college setting, you go to school, you're trying to learn that education to be, whether you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, whatever field of study you're looking to be in. In an apprenticeship program, you actually start out with the position in hand. You get accepted into the apprenticeship program. You want to become that bricklayer, we put you on as a bricklayer and then teach you how to become a bricklayer over the next 4 to 5 years, over that time frame. You want to be an insulator, they're going to start you out as an insulator and then teach you how to become that person from apprentice to a journey person over that 4-year, 5-year time frame. Instead of going to college for 4 or 5 years, racking up a lot of debt, getting a degree, and then still trying to find that position in the ideal field that you want to get into upon graduation, it is just that flipped dynamic. And that's one of the things I really appreciated when I went through my apprenticeship program, especially coming from the college degree, college field, and now making a transition into a new career pathway. Take a quick break here.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So getting into how does an apprenticeship model work? We're going to go with a baseline apprenticeship program. The baseline of all apprenticeship programs are going to be about 6,000 hours on the job training. I call that an OTJ, and 432 hours of classroom instruction. That's that CI. You can break down most apprenticeship programs are going to be kind of this standard curricula. Some are going to be a little bit more, some might be a little less, but this is the standard that we're going to be looking at. When you have this basic apprenticeship program, it's going to take about a 4-year completion time to go through the apprenticeship program, combining these on-the-job training hours with this classroom instruction. When you break it down over a 4-year time frame, the 6,000 hours becomes about 1,500 hours of on-the-job training. Gets to about 108 hours of classroom instruction per year. We break our apprenticeship programs just like a college, a fall and a spring semester. So that 108 hours of classroom instruction gets down to about 54 hours per semester. When you're breaking that up over about a 9 to 12 week period, you can be looking at anywhere from 4 to 8 hours per week in that apprenticeship program. Again, every apprenticeship, this is a baseline apprenticeship program, baseline model. Every apprenticeship program is going to be a little bit nuanced. Some might have block training where they do a full week's worth of training and then get back out into the field. Some apprenticeship programs are going to do 2 to 4 to 8 hours a week. Some might do a full day of education every couple of weeks. But at its baseline, this is what you're going to be looking at for an apprenticeship program. And you can look at it as a series of steps in an apprenticeship program. Really where we like to talk about is based off of the percentage of the total pay for that journey worker. And I'm going to kind of just go through these slides, these steps a little bit quicker because it's a little bit different when I'm doing this in person. But uh, as you can see, if we were going to say a journey worker is going to be paid $35 an hour for their working as an electrician or working as a plumber, the backing it down, going to the beginning level, that first year apprentice, you're going to start at $21 an hour. And each one of these steps, as you move through the apprenticeship program, is about a 10% jump in pay. So every year as you go through the apprenticeship program, you're looking at about a 10% jump in pay. And in this model, it's $35 an hour. So every year you can be looking at a $3.50 increase. And this is really what's beneficial when I went through an apprenticeship program is I could see all my hard work paying off as I went through the apprenticeship program. Essentially, it was being paid to pass my classes. And I know as a lot of parents don't like to push that fact, but I actually found that really beneficial when I went through my apprenticeship program. Why am I doing all this? Why am I doing all this work, extra work, after work, in my night classes, maybe on my weekends, working on all my homework? Well, the more I got done, the more I stayed with my program as I completed it, I'd be looking at a monetary gain each year of the apprenticeship program. So as you look at this model, starting out at $21 an hour, you are almost doubling your pay over a 4 to 5 year time frame through a registered apprenticeship program. And again, like we talked about, you're getting that $35 an hour, and you haven't incurred any college debt that you're going to have to pay off for any length of time of 10 to 30 years. So as we're moving forward through here, you can see each one of the apprenticeship programs of the building trades unions. We have multiple career pathways, like I've talked about. Just going to do a quick breakdown of each apprenticeship program. They're all kind of grouped a little bit similar. But again, we have resources on our website that we'll give a link to at the end of this. That will give more links to all the apprenticeship programs, the opportunities that exist in the apprenticeship programs. But wanted to kind of just give a brief overview about each apprenticeship program and then moving forward. So the first one we have is LIUNA, the Laborers International Union of North America. This is really a baseline union to really help out a lot of people. If you don't know the career pathway you want to take in construction industry, it's a great jumping off point. Laborers will assist many trades, many crafts all across the industry. I started out as a laborer, then moved into becoming a bricklayer. But I got to experience what it meant to be a bricklayer, what it takes to be a part of being a bricklayer, the math that's involved, the skill attainment, working from heights, because bricklayers will work off of scaffolding, 10, 20, 50, 70 feet in the air. So you get you get real life experience about what trade you might want to pursue if you're not sure exactly what you want to become. If you're not saying, hey, I don't know if I'm going to want to be an electrician, or I want to be a heavy equipment operator, the laborers is a great starting off point to get that education, to get that baseline, and then go from there with their apprenticeship program. As you can see, it's about a 3-year apprenticeship program. And then moving forward from there, if you wanted to get into another trade or a craft, it's a great opportunity. From there, we now go into kind of this more baseline model that we talked about earlier, this 6,000 hour on-the-job training, 432-hour classroom instruction. 5 trades are part of this one. You have bricklayers, which I came out of the Bricklayers Union Apprenticeship Program. You have cement masons, heavy equipment operators, painters, tapers, and glazers. Oh, I missed the plasters, excuse me. And then the roofers and waterproofers, making sure that all our buildings are properly sealed up so we don't get moisture coming down on our shoulders or on our heads when we're working in our classrooms or in our houses. A variety of careers available here within these trades, but you're looking at about a 4-year time frame for their apprenticeship program as you move through this. Next up, we have boilermakers and carpenters, insulators, and ironworkers. It's a 576 to 720 hours of classroom instruction tied to these apprenticeship programs. You're looking at about a 6,000 plus hour on-the-job training hours. And it can be anywhere about a 4+ year time frame, that 4 to 5 years that you're going to look through to go to an apprenticeship program. Boilermakers work in pressure vessel systems. Carpenters can be wood carpenters, steel stud carpenters. They also will do concrete forming. Insulators, this is more the mechanical insulation, not so much the insulation that you'd see in your house. working in power plants, medical facilities, making sure that the pipes are covered properly, make sure that the liquids that are in there, they stay at the right temperatures and as they move throughout the plant. And then iron workers, as you see the woman down there on the right, working on skyscrapers, steel structures, bridge and ornamental. They work all over the country. It is also a trade that's going to be, you can't be afraid of heights if you want to be an iron worker, but they will use welding techniques to combine steel beams, bolting them all together. From here, you have 4 more trades: electrical workers or electricians, elevator constructors, millwrights, and sheet metal workers. Sheet metal workers do a variety, but mainly the HVAC, conditioning air, making sure that it's warm in the summer, cool in the winter, or no, cool in the summer, warm in the winter. There we go. Don't want to have it the other way around. But 576 to 900 hours of classroom instruction, 7,000 to 8,000 hours on the job. Looking at a 5-year time frame to get to any one of these apprenticeship programs. You're going to see a variety of mechanical trades, steel trades with these. Elevator constructors is actually a very highly paid trade, but it's also a very highly mobile trade. You have to go where those elevators are at. From here, the final one is more of the steel trades. These are the plumbers and the pipe fitters and the sprinkler fitters. Both of them are a part of the United Association, the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Union. 8,000 to 1,230 hour classroom hours of instruction, 9,000 hours plus on the job training. Probably looking at a 5-year time frame. You will need to know how to weld. You'll need to know how to weld very effectively in these trades. You're talking about 2-inch welds, 2-inch pieces of steel to weld together. They'll work on power plants and refineries, nuclear power plants. The sprinkler fitters, if in your classroom, if you were to look up right now and you see any sprinkler heads, fire suppression systems, fire control systems, that's making sure that if there was any type of a fire that broke out, those systems extinguish the fire and make sure that there isn't any damage to the building, to the school, to the medical facility, industrial facility. Over the country for these trades, since they work in power plants and refineries, those power plants, refineries, industrial sites are fixed, and they can be in California, could be in Alaska, North Dakota, Iowa, wherever they may be. Highly mobile trade, highly rewarded trade, but highly mobile as well. So I want to come back full circle to that chart earlier that I talked about. And you'll notice that on there, it's still the same bars as you move up, that 30, 34, 37, 44, 50, and 55, all the way up to that doctorate or professional degree. But wanting to call attention to that final page, that final bar graph up on the very top. A registered apprenticeship program, on average, for our members here in the state of North Dakota, after you've graduated through a registered apprenticeship program, on average, you can make $82,000. And one of the things that I forgot to mention in an earlier slide is these numbers are averages, like they talked about. And everybody knows an average, you have a low set of numbers and you have a high set of numbers, and then that's how you get to the middle. So if you look at someone with a bachelor's degree, you see, hey, $50,000 on average you get with a bachelor's degree. Are there people making more than $50,000 in the state of North Dakota with a bachelor's degree? Yes, there is. Unfortunately, there are people who make less than $50,000 a year on average with a bachelor's degree. Same conversely with our members in the building trade unions who with a registered apprenticeship program. Do we have some members that are making more than $82,000 a year? Yes, we do. Do we have some members that are making less than $82,000 a year? Yes, we do. But the real key piece on this chart is to really get you thinking about life after high school and what post-secondary education really needs to look like. I think for far too long, we've tried to put this emphasis on just a college for all mentality. It's not to put a criticism of colleges and universities, but I think a lot of times what National Apprenticeship Week is really to call attention to that higher education comes in many different forms, and an apprenticeship program is just one of them. But speaking from my experience, my knowledge with it, having going through a college program, and then also going through an apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship program really opened up my career pathways, found a great rewarding career in the building trades unions, working as a bricklayer. and made a lot of great money. And I didn't have to take out college loans to go through that apprenticeship program. And actually, I was able to pay off my college loans and my wife's college loans in 10 years. I didn't have to consolidate any of those. And that was all made possible through the Bricklayers Union and that apprenticeship program. So really wanting to point out the opportunities that exist in the apprenticeship program. If you're interested in seeing this, getting more information about our apprenticeship program, you can go onto our website. I'll have a slide on that later on. But for those of you who are maybe freshmen, sophomores, juniors, or seniors, as you move through your high school career, this is something that really you want to pursue. Make sure you take your algebra, your geometry, your construction math, your finance courses. Everything we do in the trades revolves around math. Now, some of you might be saying, hey, I'm not that great with math. This probably isn't a career pathway that I want to pursue. I wasn't the greatest with math either. But the real key piece that I enjoyed about working in the field in the construction industry is I was using my hands with math principles. I was using the Pythagorean theorem on a daily basis, but I didn't have the a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I had the 3-4-5 rule, which is just the Pythagorean theorem. And that's what made it really useful to me in an apprenticeship program, is the real life world example of what I was learning in the classroom and then applying it out on the real world. It just stuck with me. If you're also taking any building systems, welding, woods, automotive, take those career and technical education, those CTE courses. Make sure you're signing up for those because those will only benefit for you. Take your sciences, your environmental, your earth sciences, your chemistry. We deal with a lot of science in the industry. You may not think it, but say for like an industrial coating painter member, they have to know what these coatings need to be applied at, what the temperatures, what the temperature of the steel is, what's the dew point, what's the moisture content. You have to know a lot of things out there to make sure that these coatings get applied properly in the proper thickness so they protect the metal that there's going on. And some of these coatings can be very, very expensive. If you don't apply them properly, you're wasting a lot of money of your employer, you're wasting a lot of money to the power plant. So you need to understand that there's a lot more things involved with it. It's just not just slapping a coat of paint on, and that's trying to get that focus back in there. If you have any type of an apprenticeship readiness program, we're starting to develop some of those with some schools around the state. If you hear of an apprenticeship readiness program with the building trade unions, take a look at that, because those things will actually help you prepare for a registered apprenticeship program. Kind of finishing up here with my presentation, there's 8 themes that I really want you to talk or to kind of take away from this, the benefits of a registered apprenticeship program here. We're established, they're a post-secondary credential, you get paid to learn, there's no college loans. All of our programs are accredited so that education goes with you all over the country. You learn by doing. I can't stress that enough. You're not going to be sitting in a classroom really learning about a lot of theories only to apply them, hopefully, in a testing situation. No, when you learn the Pythagorean theorem, you're going to learn the 3-4-5 rule. You're going to learn how to make square corners out on the job site the very next day. That's what I found beneficial. Relevant education, and then that flip dynamic. Instead of going on to school, taking out a lot of college loans in hopes of finding that career pathway, you have your job, your career position in hand, and then we're going to train you how to become those cement masons. We're going to teach you how to become those elevator constructors, those plumbers, those pipe fitters. If you also have access to Are You Ready? We have more information about our profiles. You can talk to your career counselors. They can help you get set up with this. But we have 3 profiles we've built on Compass with Are You Ready that are related to general construction, mechanical construction, or electrical construction. You can find out more information on those on Are You Ready? And if you want to apply to one of those apprenticeship programs, we can get you going in that pathway, that direction. You can talk to your career counselor for more information on that. And ultimately, kind of coming back full circle on all of this is the review, re-examine, reevaluate, and reimagine. During National Apprenticeship Week, what we're really trying to bring back the focus is what's redefining what success looks like. Really, what I'd like to point out is Google is one of the most popular search engines. And if you type in what successful job or career or people look like in Google, you don't see hard hats, you don't see safety vests, you don't see nurses, you don't see first responders. You see people in business suits and ties, and you see them in offices, in corner offices, in boardrooms, meetings. And I really want to bring back that focus with my presentation here today and all of us at job service here too are trying to bring back what defining success really looks like. So just take a look at this woman who is now an electrician. She's working out in the field, and really the joy that she has on her face. So with that, you can go to our website, www.ndbtu.org. There's links to all of our career pathways, to all of our affiliated unions with their apprenticeship programs here in the state of North Dakota and the region. But really, ultimately, just building your career, getting more information out there, and seeing what the opportunities exist with the registered apprenticeship program. With that, I appreciate the time and looking at us and exploring. I hope to meet all of you future and see if there can be an opportunity in the building trades to look at us as a career pathway. Thank you very much.